Greetings. I'm Kevin Bailey. Welcome to the mailbox. Oh gosh, great to have you, man and man, from Moran Point to Negril in the midst of the challenges we face. We are our brother's keeper. We're here to challenge you, encourage you, and empower you every Wednesday. Really a privilege for us. So last week we spoke about unemployment. We spoke about job loss and what a program that was. With the man them, yeah, sharing the real things. Oh gosh, it is difficult. We have to make certain adjustments. Courtney, do you have any eye point from last week? What has been happening?
When Jason shared, it impacted my life. We know we're also in Suicide Prevention Month, and when he shared that, the thoughts went through his head. Even while he was going through that period, he just went in that day, and the boss just informed him that this is what is to happen. He has 2 degrees. And it shows that it doesn't matter where you are from, especially in these challenging seasons, things can happen. But guess what, Kevin, there's always victory in overcoming. And so trust me, it was really inspirational to hear Jason and what's the other young man named Rodolph? I'm trying to remember the other gentleman's name.
Robert. Yes, Robert.
Robert Malcolm. The program was top class, Kevin. Top class.
I totally agree with you. It is so good when men can be vulnerable, we can be open, we can be honest, we can be candid, because we're human beings, we're not machine. Even though the world wants us to behave like machine, God has made us beautifully, fearfully, and wonderfully made. We have all the range of emotions. There are times that we feel depressed, we feel anxious, we may have difficult thoughts, and it's so good that we're able to share this. And I want to encourage the man them, whenever you feel down, even just find one other person that you can be vulnerable with. The word says, confess your faults one to another and pray that you might be healed. This is a confession to one another, not to God. There are certain healings only come when you find another human being like yourself, not God. So that is where we need each other to be able to overcome many things. That's how God orchestrated it.
And as you said, Kevin, and pray, not gossip, and pray. That
That's
after
right.
confessing one to another, it's about praying and, as you said, your brother's keeper, helping each other to walk through the challenging seasons, not condemning, not judgmental, nor condemnatory, but encouraging, hey, you can get past this. This season will pass.
Of course.
Words of hope.
Thank you. Well, Courtney, all of us have been impacted by COVID in some way or the other. Unemployment, financial crisis, health crisis, marital crisis, relational crisis. So many things. One thing is finishing, another one is coming. But as we rise each day, we tend to forget sometimes to be grateful. We want to challenge the man them. In everything, give thanks. For this is what? The will of God. Let me tell you something. Yes, we have to be grateful for life. And what about your ability to see, your ability to hear, to speak, and so on? Many of these things we take for granted, while other persons do not have the luxury of these things that we overlook. And so imagine life for those who were born or later became visually or audio impaired. How has life been for a man like that? This is this program this afternoon. Today, we want to find out. And the mailbox is the safe place. This is the place that we have created for the man them. And for our guests to be vulnerable, because Courtney and I, we are so happy to be vulnerable with you as well. So this is a safe place, Courtney. What do you say?
Indeed, it is a safe place. Indeed, it's where we want you to be open. Indeed, we want you to recognize that help is here. And so because of that, because it's a safe place, because we want to navigate through COVID, we want you to know that today inside the mailbox, we're going to take a look at the man with disability, indeed, navigating COVID-19. We want to go through all aspects, respect, and collect every part of the peg to ensure that we learn how to navigate through these challenging seasons. Who have with us this evening, Kevin?
Yes, we will be privileged, honored to have as our very special guest in the place, Damian Rose. Damian Rose is visually impaired and he is a receptionist, audio editor, library assistant at Jamaica Society for the Blind. He's also board member, player at Jamaica Visually Impaired Cricket Association. This he is doing things with all the challenges, all the disabilities. He is showing us that all things are possible if we only believe, and he will share some other things that he has to do apart from just believing. So in a while, we're gonna be having Damian Rose. Is Damian with us yet? As soon as he's with us, we will be having him giving us a shout out. So thank you so much, man and man. Encourage somebody. Maybe you know somebody with a disability. They might be discouraged at this time. Other persons who are facing just these challenges, we want to get some encouragement, and our guest Damian Rose will be with us.
Yes, Damian is here, and so it's good to have him. Good evening, good afternoon, Sir Damian Rose. How are you today? It's good to have you with us.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the mailbox. And
Hey.
I must say good afternoon, and enough respect to the listeners of Love 101, the family station. Yes, man.
Oh boy, I like how Damian sound, you know. No,
Hey.
Damian full of vibes. You see the energy and the power that Damian is coming. We want to remind our listener that Damian Rose is visually impaired. He's a receptionist.
Let me correct that. I am not visually impaired. I am blind. Let me explain this.
Please.
Visually impairment means that you have some level of vision. I
Yes.
don't. I am totally blind.
Wow. Thanks for correction. You are totally blind. And oh gosh, I've one question to ask, you know, man. But before I run ahead of myself, I don't want to. But just to say thank you so much. It's a privilege and an honor for you to be with us on the mailbox. Isn't that so, Courtney?
Oh, yes, it is. And just like you, Kevin, I'm loving the energy I'm feeling from Sir Damian Rose. You know, it's such an encouraging voice. It's such an encouraging mood that I'm hearing from him. It's powerful. Damian, I know we're going to have an exciting time, an impactful time. Those who are listening, again, we encourage you, get someone else to listen this evening. We want them to be in on this one. So,
That is so true.
We want to hear from you. We really want to hear from you. Men who wanted to call in, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. That's the handle there. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. The number again, 876-997-3125. Remember, women, love no, can't do nothing without you. You see, God said it wasn't good for the man to be alone, so he gave us you ladies. And so we want you to participate as well. You can participate by leaving us a message via WhatsApp or Facebook or YouTube. Remember though, no calls or no voice note allowed by the ladies. We want the men to do the calling in. But ladies, remember, you are a part of the program and can participate by leaving your text message at 876-997-3125 or Facebook page or YouTube page. You're always upon our heart, our mind, and everywhere else in our eyesight. So we love them.
Thank you, Courtney. That is so true. So, man, do you know someone who might have a disability, whether they are audio, visually impaired, blind, as our guest remind us, intellectual disability, acquired brain injury, autism spectrum disorder, physical disability, whichever you might want to that you're identified with. You may want to stick around because I'm sure that there are some commonalities, and our guest well able to share with us on his perspective as well. And we're going to understand a lot much more. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're looking at how COVID impacted our special guest, Damian Rose. This is the mailbox. We take a break. We'll be right back after this.
I am a man, yes.
Does this sound remind you of car insurance? Or does this sound remind you of getting a loan for your small business? What about this? Does this remind you of paying your bills online? Trust Grace Kennedy Financial Group to do your banking, insurance, investments, money services, and more gracefully. Get to know us at gracekennedyfinancialgroup.com.
Real estate is big business. There are actually quite a few ways to make money by adding real estate to your investment strategy, such as buy shares in real estate or related companies, go with a fund featuring real estate packages in a single curated portfolio, become a proprietor and earn passive income from your vacation and long-term residential tenants or from commercial leases.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Hey, my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status, if you consider the least of a test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Real long life, our story.
Remember, update your status in a real life. Do an HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Real long life, our story. Real long life for youth, coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Life comes at you fast and it can hit hard. Apply for the Credit Union Prepaid MasterCard from C&WJ with chip and PIN protection. Need a card with a personal line of credit for emergencies? We have that. Need a card you can use to shop online for that must-have item? We have that. The Community and Workers of Jamaica Prepaid MasterCard. All the convenience of a MasterCard. Discover the benefits of belonging.
I am a man, yes. Strong.
Welcome back. You are listening, viewing the program, The Mailbox, live on Love 101, the 7th day of September. Today is Louise Bennett Clovelly Day. We're celebrating Miss Louise Bennett, an excellent icon in the nation who make a patwa go on and gone abroad. You know,
yes, very proud Excelsorian. Those
Excelsorian, yes.
Yeah, must be very proud of her, but a national treasure and an international icon. So big up.
Yeah, man. And so we celebrate her today as well. I'm Courtney Morrison, and I got my co-host Kevin here with me. Today inside the mailbox, we're looking at the man with disability navigating COVID-19. And our guest is, well, we are being corrected. He's not visually impaired. He is blind. He's a blind receptionist, audio editor, and library assistant at Jamaica Society for the Blind, board member, player at the Jamaica Visually Impaired Cricket Association. And his name is Damon Rose. He's not without vision. I'm sure he has vision. He lacks eyesight. But indeed, we want to just say again, welcome Damien for being here. And man and man, we want to give him a shout out as we often do here. The mailbox going 8 years, 8 consecutive years, strong and still counting. And so we don't believe there's any other mail program like this for the year. History created, Kevin. And so man and man, we want to give you a big shout out as we're accustomed to doing. I want to shout after 3. 1, 2, 3. Man!
Man in the place for sure. Yes. And I think our producer reminding us that it was yesterday was the birthday for Miss Lou. So it's post birthday. So she reminding us it was yesterday. So yeah, respects there. And we're gonna go straight into the chat because we know how fast the hour will go. We're going to jump right into the main segment, the inbox, the man with disability navigating COVID-19. So we have many persons living with visual disabilities, impairment, persons who are blind, persons, are they more vulnerable to get the acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus? How does the current pandemic that's affecting us nationwide, the lockdown, slowdown of stuff, the unprecedented spread of the virus, these things are having serious impact on people living with disabilities and even endanger their lives in the long run. You know, we want to get an inside scoop, Courtney, of what is happening to our brothers and sisters
Yes.
facing these challenges.
Yes, so many restrictive and control measures are there in place currently, including the adoption of new behavioral changes. For example, social distance during our outdoor movements, limiting touch or tactile contact, that which we used to have, relationships usually are contact sport, if we want to call it that, recommended by the government will pose immense challenges to individuals with a visual loss. So Damien Rose, who has visual loss, is going to talk to us today and tell us how him do so much things. I have never even understood how them play the cricket. So he's a cricketer as well. So we have so much to hear from him today. Damien, you are an inspiration. So we want you to tell us, how has the pandemic been treating you and your mental health? And how did visual impairment happen for you? So tell us a bit of how it is affecting you in terms of your mental capacity, and how did your visual or impairment or your blindness, how did it happen? Was it from birth? Just tell us a bit about yourself.
Let me first start with how I got blind.
Yes.
So I am from Westmoreland, and when I was born with glaucoma, and I had some level of vision, because I remember I used to go outside and look up in the sun. Yeah. Up until this day, I can remember how the sun looked. But what the issue was, for my mom and my grandmother, what would happen is that I would be looking at you, but my eyes would be rolling all over the place. So my eyes weren't steady, right? And they thought that something was wrong. So they took me to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and they met a doctor there and explained the condition. He said yes, he could fix it. He went ahead, did the surgery on both eyes, and they became blind. After that, my mom, who I love so very much, she decided that she had to find a way out for her son, because what had happened now is that my father had stepped away from his responsibility, saying he doesn't have a blind child. So he stepped away. So she came to Kingston. Right. She came to Kingston and she found out about the Salvation Army School for the Blind. Now, a part of the requirement to go to the school for the blind, just like any other school, is that you must do a medical. So I did my medical at the university hospital. When they asked my mom what happened, how did I get blind and stuff like that, and she explained to them what had happened, they were very angry, because they were saying that all I needed was an injection to steady the eye nerves, and with treatment I would be seen. So that's how that went.
Wow, tell me something, Damian. How old were you when that happened? And then just share, I mean, how do you feel? Probably you could tell us your age now, but having an understanding of what went wrong there and the blindness. Is there resentment? Was there anger? Help us to understand the feelings that you have been going through in acknowledging that this happened. Yeah.
Right. So this happened, I was about 2+, I think. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know anything else. And for me, I am not that person who is going to sit and complain about a hurdle. I'm going to find my way around it. Now, growing up with with blindness, for me, yes, you are going to meet persons who will resent you, and you will wonder why, because I myself know that I am normal, but persons out there don't see you that way, right? And for me, it was just a learning game. I remember when I was young, and my family, they love me from they realize what has happened. Every member of my family, they treat me like a precious stone, or something they don't want anything to happen to. So right. But what I realized after a while is that certain things I would have to start learning to do for myself, because let's say we are at home and the family is sitting down and they are watching a nice movie, and I'm outside playing, and doing all type of things, and I come in at the time when the movie is sweet and say, "Can I get a cup of water?" Nobody not going to move. Right? So you realize that, hey, certain little things, yes, they will do it for you, but sometimes it's not going to be in the timely manner that you want. So you have to then now learn how to do certain things. And that is where the School for the Blind comes in now, where they teach you at that institution, a very noble institution, I must say, that, there are almost 4 or 5 ways to do any one thing. And, we learn how to do all those things, everything that you can think of. We learn to do it the blind way.
Wow.
Impressive. I love your attitude. It's really impactful and really encouraging. At what age though? You were 2+, you said, when it happened to you. What age did you start that school? And how long did it take you to process and actually getting things done, learning how to, navigate life with this blindness? How long did that take you?
I started school there, let's see, I was about 4 when I started at the School for the Blind, right? And just like with any other set of persons, any other set of kids, you go there and you see other kids doing stuff, you're going to want to do it. So
did you just say you see kids doing other things that you want to do? I love that.
That is the thing. You're not going to meet a blind man who is going to talk like a blind man. So get used to that. Right? So you're there and you see kids playing cricket, you see them playing football, here if you want to say that. And you want to know how the game is played because persons seem to be enjoying themselves out there. You hear people kicking and you're saying, they're in the kitchen, what they're doing, And you want to know all of those things. So there was a drive to get involved and learn how to do stuff. Because what they would tell you that at the school is that, listen, when you grow older and you're out on your own, you're going to have to do these things. So you have to learn from now to do them so that when you are out there, nobody can expect you. You don't have to wait on somebody for you to eat a meal and stuff like that,
So you became an independent.
Tell us something, Damien.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yes, Damien, you're here, right? No, thank you so much for right. Can you tell us, Sissy, a little bit about your world? Is there a different world when you are blind than the world that we are viewing out here? For instance, do you have goals and dreams? I mean, what is it that you wanted to become in life? Were those just evaporated? Is it a different world? And how is the world treating you? I mean, explain a little bit of how is your world as a blind person, maybe different from ours. And do you have the dreams? Do you have the goals, aspirations, all those kind of stuff?
Well, definitely. All right. So it's the same world. It's the same world. The only thing is that we see differently from you, right? Sometimes people say you do a little better than you because we are more focused and more in depth on what is going on. Some people take a lot of things for granted. We can't do that because we have to know how this is going to impact us on a day-to-day basis. So you have to learn about it. And in terms of dreams and aspirations, yes, we do have dreams and aspirations. One of the things, because when I went to the School for the Blind, I met up on some guys who were older than we were. And one of the things that they say is that, listen, we are going to change the view of that society has about blind and visually impaired persons, in that most persons know blind people as somebody who is always looking pity, somebody who is stretching out them hand to beg a dollar. No, we don't want that, right? And so they would beat that into our skulls every day that, listen, you have to go, let us try to change the view of blind persons out there. And I and the other young folks in my time, we bought into that, and we said, listen, we have to be the difference. What happened? We saw persons matriculating into the high school system. We said,
Yes.
listen, if this man can go to high school, we can. I went to the great Calabar, I must say.
Wow. Big up.
Right?
Wonderful.
Yes, in terms of my dreams and aspirations, from I was a little boy, I was always in love with music.
Yes.
I always say, listen, I want to be a musician. And yes, I did all I could to become a musician. I was so in love with music that I want to play it, and I also want to be that person who, how should I put this now? Well, I build rhythms, and I am also a disc jock, right? So I took on both aspects of the music, because from when you're at the school for the blind, you're surrounded by music. Everywhere you go, you hear music when you're at the school. So it became entrenched in a lot of us. And, we just chose that path. And I am living my dream right about now.
Sir Damien, I'm really getting, goosebumps listening to you. Even when you talk about music, I don't know if you knew the late Veronica. What was Veronica's name? Blake?
Veronica Blake.
What was it?
Blake.
Yes, she was a good friend. She taught us through Youth for Christ days what it meant to change the narrative about visually impaired persons. You're also impressive. I want to hear a bit more. We're coming up to a time signal, but I also want to hear a bit more about the cricketing that you play. We want to hear how have gotten yourself involved in sporting activities. You spoke a bit that you see persons playing football and all them things. And we are just wanting to hear how it is done. Do you think the public understand, though, someone like yourself with a disability? You started to hint at it a bit, that your world is the same as ours, but what is it that we see, or what is it that you experience on a daily basis when it comes on to others who are out there who are not visually impaired, who might consider themselves having all the wonderful abilities? How do you think the public, or do you think the public understand someone like yourself in terms of having a disability?
How the public view us. It's very strange, because there isn't a lot of public education, especially about blind and visually impaired persons out there. And this is why I want to also thank you guys for having me on this evening to help to, express some of the things that, because, let me give you an example now. So you would have 4 or 5 blind persons probably standing at a bus stop, and we're there discussing a show on Netflix, right? And then you'd hear persons whispering, so they watch Netflix too? And we have to say to them that, listen, the same things that you do, we are able to do it. We may not be able to do it in that kind of way, that with our eyes, but our ears are quite keen. We can practically, we know what is going on out there in the world. We are up to date with everything, news, movies, music, everything you can think of. Blind persons are up to date with it. We are not just locked off in a world where, hey, we're blind, we don't know what's going on, we're just going around and but surviving. No, we are up to date. If you have a discussion with any blind person you meet on the road, he will be able to discuss with you any and everything that is going on out there in the world right about now.
We want to take a time signal. We thank you for sharing that. It's so exciting. I'm here just reveling in all that I'm hearing. So we're going to take a break and do a time signal. We have to earn some money. We'll come right back shortly.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man.
You're listening to Family Radio Love 101, the time on the Family Station. It's now a minute moving down past the hour 6 o'clock.
Hey man, I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man.
The pandemic is unpredictable, but Real Money IQ is always ready for the next smart investment move. Once the economy begins to recover, investment opportunities in infrastructure sectors such as construction and mining will be on the rise. It's smart to invest in companies that produce or distribute building materials, or companies that finance infrastructure projects. Your wealth is waiting for your next money move.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Making money work for you is the ultimate money IQ move. Simply earning and saving cannot keep up with inflation. Instead, consider investing in the stock market. A stock makes you a shareholder and could entitle you to dividends. Buy enough stocks in the right companies and those dividends can really pay. It's a long-term move, but a good pick can build not just wealth, but a whole legacy.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Phoenix Health and Vision Center now has 2 locations. St. Anne's Bay, 65 Main Street beside the health center. And now Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falma, Trelawney. You heard me right. Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falma, Trelawney. The only full-service eye care center for all your designer frames and designer glasses. Plus, complete eye care. Book all your appointments now in St. Anne's Bay. Call 876-972-2388. 876-589-8327. For Falmouth and its environs, call this number 876-533-0540. Looking forward to seeing you at both locations. Phoenix Health and Vision Center. Now at Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
Yep, strong man, integrity man. Courtney, it's time for our favorite folder. Welcome to Mandem from Moran Point in Negril. We have been having a really stimulating, empowering, challenging, encouraging conversation with Damian Rose in the place. And so we are going to pick his brain again. Right now, we're looking at our favorite folder where there's no right or wrong answer. It's just his perspective. And so this is the conversation here, Damian. Does having a disability affects a man's love life or friendship? Are you still able to be a part of romance? Do you have sexual urges and sensation? Do you want to be married or want to have children and have love life like other people like Courtney? But all of these things, is it harder for you to secure friends or love? Is it more difficult when you are blind to be in loving relationships? Oh boy, Damian, we want to hear your perspective on this.
All right, no problem. Let me start with friendship first.
Yes.
Friendship, yes, you will meet a lot of friends. And because how a lot of us as blind persons meet a lot of friends who can see is out of curiosity. So they will come to you and they will like, so you're blind? And that's normally where the conversation starts, how you see this stuff. And then after a while they will find out that, yeah, you are just a normal person. But when it gets deeper now into relationship, therein lies a big problem, because a lot of ladies, they don't want to be, I wouldn't say don't want to be in a relationship, but it is kind of a difficult challenge for them to be in a relationship with a blind person because of society, because society may think that that lady is with that blind person, or that man is with that blind girl because they probably have some money or something. Or it could be that family members and friends are telling them, yo, so if you're there with the blind man, oh, I'm not going to mind you. Because the society at large don't see blind people. Once your eyes are closed, it's like everything else is closed off to the world. So you don't work, people take care of you. And that is what they're going to tell that lady, that listen, and you go have to do this, and you go have to do that. You have to go cook, wash, clean. But Hell, you do that for your normal other spouse. So why wouldn't you do it for the blind person? But then you don't have to, because we do our things ourselves. We cook, we wash, we iron, just like anybody else. But because the public has a certain perception, then that lady becomes under pressure. And it takes a strong lady who will say, listen, I know him, I know what he can do, and stand by you to say, listen, I'm going to be with him no matter what anybody say. So it takes a really strong lady to be with somebody with a visual impairment or totally blind.
I'm so impressed because I go for walks in the morning and on the hills here in Portmore, and there's a young lady with a gentleman who you can see that he's either visually impaired or blind, but she helps him up and down that hill. As you say, it takes a strong individual. But I just look on in amazement and wonderment as to what's happening. You touched one area. You said you wanted to start with the friendship first. Tell us a bit about the love life. Tell us a bit about what's happening down that end of life. We want to hear more.
Well, my love life.
Well, whether you want to speak generally or specifically, that's fine.
Well, as I said before, it takes a really strong lady to be with somebody who is totally blind or have a visual impairment. But we do have a lot of those strong ladies out there. We even have gentlemen, blind gentlemen, are even ladies who are in marital relationships. Men who are married to ladies who can see, and ladies who are blind married to gentlemen who can see. So you do have those strong persons out there, but it's a minority. It's not a large, because a lot of ladies, they want to be a friend, but when you start going into the relationship, then they kind of step back because they don't know what.
A charming man like you, that don't sound as if that happens with you, man. That sound like you probably have a lot of ladies, and you have to be telling some of them is only one you want.
Boy, I thought my business a road now.
Well, we want to remind our listeners, you can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. You can ask questions as well of Damian Rose, 876-997-3125. All right, please give us a call. You can call us right now on our studio line, 876-968-8327, and it goes up to 8. That's 876-968-8327. Or you can join us over on our Facebook or YouTube. You may want to have a question. But we're going to wrap up this segment. Here we look at, does having a disability affect a man's love life or friendships, Courtney?
Yes, and so we heard from Damian, vibrant young man, say he has to be warding off many, just keeping one. But indeed, it is so interesting to hear that it really does take a strong man or a strong woman with something such as a visual impairment to indeed walk it through. So it's a blessing to hear that. But also, as we move on, we want to hear some of the comments from persons, and we do have a couple of comments, Kevin. From Jacqueline from Clarendon says, that young man sounds so vibrant and believes in himself. I can't believe he is blind. That's Jackie from Clarendon. Thanks very much. Another individual, it's a joy to watch the blind play cricket and other games. And not only that, they are real people in a real world who can do anything, just as us who can see. They can do any and everything. Thanks much for sharing with us this afternoon. We appreciate you joining us and sharing. Please feel free to continue sending comments. We want to hear what you have to say on this matter.
A question, Damian. What is your definition of success? And yes, persons who maybe blind, they may feel discouraged, depressed. They may feel it's the end of the road. What would you say to them? But in that, what is your definition of success?
Success for me is starting out with a dream and working on that dream, making it into a reality, and then that reality bringing you forward into the world of work, earning and starting a family. For me, that is success. It all starts with a dream, and I had that dream, and there were challenges along the way, but as I tell you, I am not a man who believes that if I buck up in a light post, I go wonder who put that light post there. I'm going to find my way around that post. So I am saying to especially blind and visually impaired, because it's working at the Jamaica Society for the Blind. You meet persons daily, and especially the adults, because we mainly deal with the adults. And what you will find is that the later in life that you get blind, it becomes more of an issue, because you were out there in the scene world doing everything, and then the sickness came and turned your life around. And you meet them and they're saying, so how am I going to do this now and how am I going to do that? And that is why the Jamaica Society for the Blind is there. We help to motivate them and rehabilitate them in such a way that a lot of them who come there have stories to tell of how they were depressed, and when they came to the Jamaica Society for the Blind and they saw other blind persons working and other blind persons doing things, they wanted to do it, and then now they're even at home cooking and all these things and living a normal life. So I say that to say that as a blind person, you go blind, life is not over. It just means that you have to find varying ways of doing the same things that you could have done when you were seeing.
Amen, amen. I love that. You spoke to success and about dreams becoming reality. And we have you here, and we know that you are an audio editor and a receptionist. Tell us a bit about the roles that you play in doing those and it being a part of your job. We want to hear about that, and then afterwards you can go a bit into the cricket, because that is what I really hear about. I really want to hear about the cricket, and I know you use the word "see" so often, and I'm saying, my goodness, this gentleman really is seeing us. You see how handsome Kevin look? Man, I'm telling you, we want to know. So you have been successful. Your dreams have become a reality. You're an audio editor and receptionist. Tell us a bit about the job. Board member, and you play cricket. Tell us a bit about it.
All right, so I started working at the Jamaica Society for the Blind back in September 2018. And how I got that job, I realized from I was a teenager that my friends would come to me for information. And when I'm not able to give them that information, I hear the disappointment in their voice, it would push me to know, you say, you know what, I have to be one of those persons who, I am one of those persons who persons are going to come to for information. So it drove me to read a lot, to find out a lot of things. Now, we are in the age of technology, right? And it doesn't exclude us, because we have assistive technology in terms of our computers, our phones, you name it, anything technology. Check out a blind person, they have it. And right, so our computers and our phones, you may be wondering how we use them. We have screen readers that are installed on these devices. Now, what the screen reader does is read the contents of the screen. So if you turn on a screen reader on either your phone or your computer, and you touch a key on the computer, it will tell you. If you turn on the screen reader on your phone and you touch an icon, it will tell you what that icon is. So because of these, so because of these tools, we are able to navigate with our Facebook, with WhatsApp, with Twitter, with Instagram, you name it, right? So Right. So in terms of me, I would help people along. I have helped multiple persons in terms of getting used to their devices, right? And I think the Jamaica Society for the Blind heard about me, and they called me, and the job that was open was a receptionist position because we had no receptionist at the time, and they knew me and know that I am a very sociable person, and that is what you want that is what you want in somebody who is going to be the face of the company, because you go to some place sometime and the way some people deal with you is like, wow, I wish I'd never have to come back here. No, I am not like that. I am a very patient person. You know, I try my best to help persons because I know where persons are coming from in terms of being blind and, struggling and stuff like that. So I bunch the two together in terms of my sociable skills and my skills at computers and phones and stuff like that.
Yes.
And today I am this year I'm doing 4 years. I'm now 4 years at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, and
wow.
Well,
congrats. So talk to us about the cricket now, because we don't want the program finish and you don't talk to us about the cricket, Is it what kind of ball you use? What kind of bat you use? Where you play? Talk to us.
All right. So firstly, the cricket is played on the normal pitch, right? The only thing is that the ball is plastic and it has some beads inside. So you know, because we are blind, it has to be audible, right? So when you throw that ball, the bearings inside start making noise. So the blind person, whether he's batting or fielding, will hear the bearings in the ball and know that yes, probably it's coming in my direction. Or if you are the batsman, it's coming and you have to hit it. So yeah, go ahead.
That's interesting. Very interesting. So you have to be keen and you have to be astute, and your reflexes have to be quick to ensure that you get this thing down to a T, man.
Definitely. Because as I tell you, we play on the normal pitch. So you know, when you're out there in the open, you are open to all kinds of sound. Trucks nowadays, those bikes, the loud bikes and stuff like that. So you have to be very astute, as you said, and listen to what is going on the field and block out all them other nights to really focus on the game, because you have to listen to that ball. If it's coming into your direction, you have to go down, feel it. Or if you're batting, you have to, know how to play the shots and stuff like that. Another thing, the ball is bowled on the ground. It's not overarm like the normal game. It's bowled on the ground so that the batsman may hear it coming. And yes, we have no balls. We have wides. We have LBW. Everything like the normal game.
I love it.
It's just that the ball is bowled on the ground.
Yes, very, very interesting, and our listeners are loving it as well as us. Tell us something. How has the COVID-19 pandemic affect you and persons like yourself? Unprecedented, things have changed. It has been very rough, challenging for us who are seen here. What has it been like for you and others who are in similar position, Damian?
Well, especially for blind and visually impaired persons, we have it rough. I remember when the whole pandemic thing just started, and the mere fact that you have to put on a mask and you have to speak to people in the mask. For some people, we depend mostly on our ears, and when you're talking to somebody in a mask, the sound is muffled. So that was something getting used to. One of the things that I don't think blind or visually impaired persons are going to be doing well at is the social distancing. We as you know, we depend on our ears and our hands and stuff like that. And trust me, sometimes you may be walking on the road and a good Samaritan come along and they want to help you. Now,
Yes.
the person is not going to walk in front of you and tell you to come, because they're going to have to do two things at the same time. They want to look in front of them and then look back to see what you're doing. And sometimes you may end up, probably hitting up in a light pole or something like that. So you find that a lot of persons, when they are a blind or visually impaired person, they are going to hold your hand, right? So that, for us, the social distancing it's kind of a no. It's really hard to do, and so what we have to do is make sure that we protect ourselves, using the sanitizers and stuff like that, and keeping our mask up at all time, and it's rough. We are having a really hard time doing it, but it's something we're trying to do. I'm not going to say that we're going to perfect the art, but we're trying, and it's really hard, I can tell you.
Wow. I sense that.
No, I'm listening, and I'm wondering, is there anything as the public that we can do to assist? As you said, the social distancing is something that doesn't seem to work, especially for the visually impaired, and with the mask muffling what sounds you hear. Is there any way that we can help as the public during this season, this challenging season, to help you to navigate this COVID-19? Tell us if there's any way, for those who are listening, men out there are listening, is there any way
I don't know if there's much more that the public can do, because as I said, persons are going to want to hold your hand to help you and stuff like that. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. It's the onus is on us to protect ourselves. If somebody brings you somewhere, you're going, you sanitize and you take care of all of those stuff. But it is going to be very hard for the public to really do anything else in terms of that.
Okay. Tell us, Damian, what is your perspective on what men are doing in Jamaica? From your vantage point, are we standing up to the place as men? You spoke about your own father and his absence in your life. How has that impacted you and your view on manhood? But kind of share with us, what is your evaluation of what we're doing as men, and where would you like us to go, the changes, if there are any?
For men, I would want men sometimes to just show a little more emotion. We are taught as men to buckle up everything. If you cry, you're man, where you're ball for. Those things. So we buckle up emotions, and one day, as him said, the cup must full one day. And then a lot of times you see when the cup full, what happens? I would like us as men to show a little more emotion. Sometimes talk about what is bothering you, because I think that is one of our issues. We talk about everything else. We talk about sports, we talk about music, we talk about lifestyle, but we don't. When it comes down to what is bothering you, you either drink to mask it or do something else to mask it, and it's going to come to the surface one day. So I would just want men to show a little more emotions, be more responsible in terms of because it's a lot of unwanted. Well, let me not say unwanted. There are a lot of kids who are being born now who don't have a father figure in their life because for some reason or another. I had that. I used to be around the other kids and hear them talking about how their mother and their father and all these things, and I didn't know what it was like growing up without a father figure. So, and it affects you, because especially when you get into your teenage years and you want to discuss the things that are around you, you're not going to want to discuss that with your mother, right? And
Yeah.
you find that the kids that grow up with a rounded family, that sometimes they are more emotionally they are more stronger because they have both parents that anything is better, you can go to one or you can go to the other, and they would guide you. But not having a father figure, and there are a lot of kids growing up in Jamaica without fathers in their lives, and I think it contributes sometimes to what goes on in the society because fathers are not there to guide their kids, and they end up probably in wrong things, doing things that are, terrible. So the men need to get more involved in family life and just show them a little more care.
Yes. Well, you're making an impact here. We have some feedback here. We have wow, he is so inspiring. He reminds me of my best friend who is also visually impaired. He is the one that do my computer programming. He cooks, he climbs trees, swim, him ride bicycle. He's also he has won and played at my wedding as my wedding present for me. Everyone at the wedding was so in awe how well he did. That's a feedback.
He's a music selector, it would seem that the person is also saying. So he played at her wedding. Wow, pleasant good evening, afternoon, gentlemen. This young man is so inspiring. And this person quoted Michelle Rose and said that I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. God continue to bless. She says also that you are so inspiring. You are a good example and an inspiration to even those who are not visually impaired. And Stuart says, interesting program. Is there any?
Go ahead.
We only have a minute. Just want to ask, is there any word of inspiration that you want to leave with our men? You spoke to the fatherlessness, but is there any word of inspiration in a minute that you'd like to leave with our men, our young men, and those of us who are not visually impaired, yet those who have disabilities, especially during this challenging season?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just like to say that in this time, we need to show more love. We need to care more about the persons around us, even persons you don't know. We need this is the time now that we should be together. Our society over time has become very selfish, and we would want that to change now. We want persons, especially our men, to be more proactive, be involved in your family life, be involved in good things. There are too much bad things being said out there about our men, and would love that to change. So, as I said, let's love more, let's care more, let's be happy, As I tell people all the time, you are responsible for your happiness. So go for it, make yourself happy, and trust me, it's a catching thing. If you are happy, then I am going to be happy.
Wow.
Awesome. You are such an inspiring individual, Damian. It is a pleasure to have listened to you. We met you and we saw you. It is good to be here with you today, Kev.
Yes, thanks to our producer, Tony K. Bramfield, bringing us these significant, important persons. To Neeson Williams for technical support, and to our very special guest, Damian Magnificent Rose. We thank you so much for opening up your heart. He's blind, audio editor, receptionist, board member, playing cricket at the Jamaica Visually Impaired Cricket Association. So many things. What an inspiration, Courtney.
Yes, you have been. And so, with that, we end this program. This program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by yours truly, Courtney Morrison and
Kevin Bailey. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. Catch you next week. Same place, same time inside the mailbox.
Monday.
I am a man, yes.